everybody. Today I'd like to teach you a magic trick I call the Mysterious Boomerang. It's a fun magic trick, it's easy to do, and you can make it yourself. But before I explain all that, let me show you what the magic trick should look like. Now, I like to tell stories with my magic tricks, so I'm going to do that right now. I was traveling in Australia. You know, as a magician, I get to travel all over the place. But what did I do while I was down there? I went to McDonald's and I got myself a Happy Meal. I like Happy Meals. Why? Because the best part of a Happy Meal is not the fries, it's the toy. And I got myself this boomerang. You know what a boomerang is, don't you? You throw it, it spins around, and it comes back to you. Of course, this wasn't a very good boomerang because it wouldn't come back. Do you know what you call a boomerang that won't come back? A stick. So here I had this boomerang stick, but I thought it's kind of a cool decoration. I could put it up on the wall, or I could give it to a friend. So I went back and I got a second boomerang. The problem is I felt kind of ripped off because this red boomerang was actually smaller than the yellow boomerang. But that was down in Australia. You see, here in Colorado, everything is backwards from Australia. For example, right now it's winter in Colorado, but it is summer down in Australia. So when I came back to Colorado, I made an interesting discovery that the yellow boomerang was actually smaller than the red boomerang. So let's see if we've got this straight. In Australia, the red boomerang is smaller than the yellow boomerang. But here in Colorado, the yellow boomerang is smaller than the red boomerang. Now I asked myself, what would happen if I went in between? That would be on the equator. Well, on the equator, you discover that both boomerangs are exactly the same size. But of course, we live here in Colorado, so remember, this red boomerang is smaller than the yellow boomerang. Or was that in Australia? So this is a fun magic trick to do. The truth of the matter is we have two boomerangs that are exactly the same size. Now, chances are you're already on my website and you're seeing this video there. If that's the case, all you have to do is scroll down when the video is done and you will see a picture of two boomerangs. If you click twice on that, it will come up with a separate picture that you can print onto a sheet of, I'd recommend it be fairly stiff paper, something like cardboard, some kind of cardstock printing paper, and then cut it out and color them in contrasting colors. We've got red and yellow here, they contrast nicely. You got to make the two boomerangs look different. Maybe you could do it by putting patterns on them. Maybe a checkerboard on one and stripes on the other. It doesn't matter, you do have to make them look different or there's no magic trick here. This is simply an optical illusion. You see, if you look closely at the design of the two boomerangs, the curve on top is actually smaller than the curve on the bottom. So what happens is when we put the small curve, the one here on the bottom, next to the large curve on top, whichever boomerang is to the side or on top actually looks smaller than the other boomerang. It's just the way that our brains process that information. And that creates an optical illusion that you can do a magic trick with. Now, if you want, you can also trace these onto construction paper that's different color. That way you don't have to color them in or make the patterns. I had one student who actually got very clever and wrote the names of famous magicians on each of them, and then talked about how David Copperfield was more popular than David Blaine, and then David Blaine became more popular than David Copperfield. You don't have to tell my story. Use any story that you want. Now, if you have any questions, or if you have trouble printing up the boomerangs, just write to me, dave@magicindenver.com, and I will be glad to help you out. If you want magic lessons, I do teach magic lessons, and you can find out more about that at magicindenver.com. Then click on the Learn Magic page, and not only will you see this video if you're not already there, but at the bottom of the page there is information about lessons. There's also another magic trick on that page, one that's done with a 3.5 clubs, but I'll discuss that in the other 2 videos on that page. Hey, thanks a lot for watching, and have a lot of fun with the Mysterious Boomerangs.